a gentleman named Jason wrote in. He says, we have a friend who has sadly begun to observe a sunrise to sunrise reckoning of the day. Now, I get these people all the time. No joke. I mean, I get emails all the time of people
for the sunrise to
yeah,
sunrise.
sunrise to sunrise. Like, what do you know, or even a sunrise to sunset. It's like they're trying to do a sunrise Saturday morning to sunset Saturday evening. Anyway, so he goes on, I have easily been able to respond to the majority of his, quote, proof, but I wanted to run 2 passages by you from the Septuagint that I could use some help with. I don't read Greek, and I don't want to rely on English translations of the Septuagint. Good for you, sir. I would really appreciate some help with this. Good job, Jason. Yes, I have to ask for help, especially when I'm looking at Hebrew texts. Okay, he says, in a nutshell, he, that is his friend, is maintaining that the Masoretic text in Nehemiah 13:19 and Judges 14:18, which I've put the English translations in your show notes, everybody, were altered to reflect the sundown reckoning, and that the Septuagint shows sunrise being significant, not sunset. Do you have any insights on this that you might be able to share? Okay, so now, full disclosure here, for some reason, and maybe Gary can help me with this after the show, for some reason, I don't have the Ralph Septuagint text in my Accordance library right now. I don't know why. Anyway, I do. So I'm using the Sweet. I'm using the Sweet Septuagint. What do you have open, Rob?
Well, I have the Ralph's is the more critical. But yeah, I mean,
I usually use Ralph's, but for some reason it won't come up.
Here's one way to, since he's probably not using Greek, he's probably looking at the translation from like the 1900s or probably the 19th century.
You're talking about the Septuagint,
the Brenton. Yeah, that's I just looked up 1851. So in the 1851 translation of the Septuagint,
you said Brenton translation
is the Brenton translation.
Okay, I got it.
And it says before sunrise.
You're looking at. Are you talking about Judges or
Judges 14:18?
Okay, got you.
So he's reading this as on the 7th day before sunrise.
See, but I see that in the Greek.
Yeah, because it's the Greek. It's one ancient Greek text. We have another. The Rolfs is based on a stronger textual tradition, and it has before the sun went down.
I agree with you completely.
So in other words, we have Caleb's having a coughing fit here. That we have multiple, and this is why it's important. Just like we have different translations, it would be like you and I are reading different English translations of the Bible, and I say, well, but it says, he made all foods clean in Mark 7:19, and you're reading the King James, you're like, oh no, it purges all meat, all foods, and we're like, no, okay, well, we're dealing with a discrepancy between ancient translations. We're not dealing with the Masoretic text.
Well, and that's just it.
But this person is suggesting that the Masoretic text is wrong because one of the Greek translations has something different, right?
But yeah, I agree with you. But I just don't understand what evidence at all. I tried looking up the Hebrew of these passages in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and of course the Dead Sea Scrolls don't have these. It's missing these passages. But what proof do we have at all that the Masoretic text or the Masoretes changed this passage, and why would they do that? Well, I mean, we have no proof whatsoever. So what you're saying is that
would be me. That would be it's. I mean, this is exaggerated, but it's like actually, God didn't create light until the second day, but the texts we have are corrupt.
Yeah, it's corrupt.
But I don't. But then you ask me, well, how do you know? Well, except in this case, he has a translation that seems to support his view. But the context is not the Shabbat. It's the story of Samson. So in any event, for those interested, I don't even know if we did justice to our listeners. Judges 14:18. There's this phrase in the Hebrew, "B'terem yavo hacharasa," and the harasa is one of the rare words to mean son. Cheres. It's like only used twice, I think, once here and once in Job. So right off the bat, you're using a text that has a very rare word in it. But yavo, it will come, and bo, the word lavo, to come, is throughout the scriptures. When it's used with the shemesh, with the sun, it means the going down of the sun. It means sunset. It means sunset. It doesn't mean sunrise. It means sunset.
I just saw your comment. Do you need to kill a spider in your...
I already got it. It was crawling on the wall there.
Okay.
It was freaking me out.
Okay. So now I see. Now, okay, we're talking about which translation is this? What English translation were you using? I'm sorry.
Oh, I think the guy's using the Benton, which is the one from 18.
Okay, so in the Benton, it looks like they're following the Septuagint's the translation, Sweet's translation. You know, he represents that because
Sweet's text. Yeah, the one you want to use is there's a NETS, the New English Translation of the Septuagint. It's available for free online, and it's got awesome introductions to every book. I mean, it's in accordance. It's a module in accordance, but you can. I'll see if I can find the website.
Okay, but but here's the point: is that in the Benton, I understand why he would get that in Judges 14:8, but in the Benton, I don't see it in Nehemiah 13:19. It says in the Benton translation, it says, "And it came to pass when the gates were set up in Jerusalem before the Sabbath, that I spoke, and they shut the gates, and I have orders that they should not be opened until after the Sabbath. And I set some of my servants at the gates, that none should bring in burdens on the Sabbath day." Does it keep going? I don't understand. Hang on,
I don't know.
Let's go through 21. Let's see what it says through 21. So all the merchants lodged and carried on traffic without Jerusalem once or twice. Then I testified against them and said to them, "Why do you lodge in front of the wall? If you do so again, I will stretch out my hand." From that time, they came not on the Sabbath. There's absolutely nothing in the Benton that would make him believe, in my opinion at least, that this is a sunrise Sabbath. And in the Septuagint, in the Sweet translation, the Greek Sweet translation, the only thing that I can imagine is that it would say "kai e geneto," but I don't.
And it was, yeah, that's.
And it was. I don't understand how he would get like the sun coming up.
That's just the Vayehi in Hebrew. Vayehi. So, and it was. Yeah.
But what does the Ralph's translation have? Because in the ESV they have, as soon as it began to grow dark at the gates of Jerusalem before the Sabbath. So this must be from the Hebrew. Obviously, they're taking this from the Hebrew and probably the.
Yeah, they're both a little strange. That the Hebrew is that it was growing dark at the gates of Jerusalem. So the gates, literally, it's as the gates of Jerusalem grew dark before the Shabbat. That's the Hebrew, and that's what the Ralph's edition of the Septuagint has as the main text. But we have to remember that when there is no one Septuagint. We just have multiple different manuscripts that are all Greek translations, and a lot of them agree with each other, but there are some variants here and there. So,
yeah, to Jason, I mean, the obvious question that I'd have to ask this gentleman would be, what proof do you have that the Septuagint or that the Masoretes changed the text? We don't see that at all, even within certain translations of the Septuagint. The Septuagint. Various translations of the Septuagint don't have what the Benton translation is representing here.